Hello, y'all. Welcome to Bamm Raw TV. I'm Bamm, aka the 411 Giant. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you know when my next video come out. Now, on this particular podcast, I want to address or give my reaction to a video in which was sent to me, a podcast by a guy, and he was talking about DC guys. He was saying that DC guys are the most hated, the most disliked, most vicious people, inmates in the federal penitentiary. Now, he went on to say a lot of things, and I told y'all if y'all ask me to give my opinion on something, or me being a convict, because this individual was a CO, it's why he had his face covered up. I understand that. And he was giving it from a CO perspective. And so guys want to know what my opinion from a convict perspective. And I listened to the video and I hear what he said, and with all due respect, he offered you to chime in. Now, he goes on to say that DC guys they the most vicious, they the most hated. No matter what, they come together and 4 or 5 of them or 10 of them can take on a yard and different things like that, in which I don't say I disagree with it. I make her add a little more light to the story. I mean, because people entitled to believe what they want to believe. All right, I would address these things in not in no order, but as I recall the video. I remember that he said DCD dudes was the most hated, and I think he left out something. They most hated, most disliked, most vicious. But he also left out most feared. A majority of inmates in the federal penitentiary feared DC guys. At some point, why? Because there was no rules that you could put on them so that you could figure them out. Every compound was different with different DC dudes. You can get on this compound here, and they may be straight Joes and putting up a little scuffle here and there. You can be on this compound here, they be straight robbers. There was no set thing to it. Latin Kings gonna pretty much follow Latin King code. GD's gonna pretty much follow the GD code everywhere they go. You got a few wild hairs, but that's always so. When you find something or someone who don't follow the code, they're unpredictable. Unpredictable people frighten people, especially when they corner. They come out swinging. Now, I seen this personally myself when Lawton was shutting down. It had been shutting down for many years. It was open for 91 years. One of the roughest penitentiaries in DC. It was similar to our Angola, similar to Chicago, Maynard, and any other the roughest penitentiary in the state for intervention. Lawton was that equally. And Lawton had to shut down. So they expedited the process because they gave them a thing saying you got to be shut down. All of them got to be out here by 2021. So then they expedited. In 99, they started expediting, throwing them to the federal penitentiary. Now, before, I had seen some good ones. I met some that I didn't fool with. I met some that I fooled with. But in Leavenworth, they respected me and I respected them. So they do respect me. So I noticed all the cars, a majority of the cars, I should say, they was running around creating alliances. And I was from Louisiana. We had no alliances. I only had been in penitentiary 3 years, maybe. And they was creating alliances. And they was like, hey, this group go to this group, say, hey, man, listen here. Them DC dudes coming, man. You know they coming. They like locusts. And they coming, they shipping them all here. Listen, if you get into it with DC, we back you. You back us when we get into it with DC. All different cars, all the different groups were getting together. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, what is, they scared of, man, how you, they actually afraid of these dudes coming here. And they was, and so as it went on, I seen that they was creating alliances and everything. Now when the DC dudes come in, you can see they gotta walk and they gotta swagger. You know what I'm saying? So they come in and it's like they know that people were scared. They do practice and have a sense that if you weak and they smell it on you, they gonna bring it to you. They gonna treat you like that. So anyway, when they get in the system, now what a shocking thing to me was I had a seller at that time. I'm not gonna disclose where he from, but my seller was walking around and he was doing pretty good. So they said the DC dudes was coming, and the DC dude landed. When the DC dude landed, my seller actually came to me one day and said, Bamm, you come down to commissary when I go to commissary? I said, what's up? Oh, I'm gonna get my bags. All right, I'm thinking he got too many bags to tote. More grocery in the house for me. I go down there, and he actually want me to tote his bag because he said, I know the DC dudes won't mess with you. And I was shocked, surprised, and wasn't too mad about it. I got both of the bags and I toted them. He walked behind me, toted both of the bags right on to the cell. Took them right on in the cell. Took off the stuff that go on top of the shelf and put the rest of it in my locker. And for as long as the time he was in the cell with me, everything went in that locker. If he can't protect it and I got to protect it, it goes in my locker. Simple as that. And I mean, that's part of it. That's the effect that I seen what DC had on the compound just coming in there. London had to be shut down by 2021. Now, he also make a statement said that if he could believe, he could assume that if they put a few DC dudes on a level 4 yard, that they would tear their yard up. They would run through their yard. Okay, what he make as an assumption, I know as a fact. When they shipped the DC dudes over to the federal penitentiary, they was shipping guys who was close to meeting the requirement to go to FCIs. They was shipping them, coming to them and say, hey, you ready? We got you. You gonna go to FCI now. And do like, hold on, y'all just turn me down. Oh, no, but you finna go now. They was getting rid of them because they wasn't trying to put the DC dudes in FCI. They were trying to bring majority of them mostly to USPs. And those dudes were getting break. So when these dudes here, when they was doing that, they still didn't have enough room in the federal penitentiary at the time. So the federal made a deal with different states. I think Idaho, Iowa, some other place. I met nothing in when they came from there. And some of the DC men when they came from there. Them people went to them places. Them DC dudes went to them places and tore them places up. They tore them places up so bad that they voided the contract they had with the federal government and shipped them dudes to the federal pen. The federal government had to find a place for them people. They were whooping so many officers, they were doing so much that at one time, one of the homeboys from DC told me the only way they could go to wreck was the folk put them in full restraints. They put them in arm restraints, handcuffs. They put them in leg restraints, and they had a collar that go around their neck that they could hold because they were assaulting so many officers and people. That's how fearful those people had become of those DC dudes that was on their compound. Now, The guy come on, he says, DC dudes, they like a pack. They roll like a pack. But that's an oxymoron because at that time it's an oxymoron because they do not, at that time, they don't claim that, like I said, man's a man. I'm my own man, he's his own man, blah, 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 do what he do. But even at the time that they was on that state, hey, that's my man, he do what he do. He grown man take care of himself. But when they got into something, they all went. Now they had different blocks and stuff, even though they was a city. DC is the District of Columbia, as I keep saying. It's not in America. So when they over here, they don't have everything that happens in DC is federal because it's not in our country or it's not in America. So DC dudes, when they go, a practice that I picked up on and I did utilize, and it was effective. If a guy is a dude who walk around and say he's about that, and when the time come to go, especially if he the one that started something, and they tell him, hey, come on, man, it's time to ride. If that dude don't ride, and from the ones that I was around, if that dude didn't ride, they will go, get together, get ready to go ride. But before they go ride on this situation, they will come and punish that guy who wouldn't go. They're supposed to be like that. They will punish him. If he checked in before they punished him, any yard he hit, the DC guys will punish him. That's why they had a 99% participation rate. They knew it was consequences if you didn't. Now the guy say he talked to a guy, and the guy was from somewhere in California where the guy was a very influential dude on the yard. And he said the dude being a police officer. He stated that he's a police officer. That's why he concealed himself. And he said he talked to the guys, and the guy said the reason they don't check DC about gunning, DC about the booty thing, booty bandits or booty thing, why they don't check them, and they let them get away with that going on. He said the dude told him that because when they roll on them and make a move on them, and they go to the hole and get shipped somewhere, when they get somewhere else, the DC dude's gonna punish them. Now, from my years in the penitentiary, in the federal penitentiary, first thing I'm gonna say is, influential made man talking to a police. If he's a convict, what he says is very guarded to the police. He's not gonna say too much. Definitely not gonna say nothing the police don't know about. He's not gonna give. If this dude is not informing, he's a man. He's not gonna be giving that police no insight. He's a laugh and play that police out, but he ain't giving them no information about how the operation of the penitentiary goes. The police see 20% of what's going on, and what a mistake may be made here, they may peep 5 more %. But they don't know what's going on in the belly of the beast. Convicts and real men know when something's going to happen before. Police don't know it's after happen. We may know 2-3 days before. We may know an hour before, maybe a day before. So I take what he responded to as a grain of salt, because either the dude was kind of bull coding, because since my time in the federal penitentiary, almost 28 years, any car that the problem has not been resolved, and you sending them people to that other line yard, the other people gonna deal with it. That's gonna have to be dealt with. If you done messed over my people and there has not been a truce or a squash or something, then it's gonna continue on every other yard you hit. That's why the police is, when it's a big thing between 2 cars, when they put them in the hole, they'll pull the main people out of the cars and try to get them to get it squashed and everything. They'll let a few back on the yard, and some of them just have to leave, period, because they may have been too active in the situation. But when they get there together and they squash it, they send their letter. Boom, boom, boom. They send their letter. So the yard, when another person hit their yard, they know, okay, we sat down and we squashed it. Our man may have been wrong. This situation didn't have to happen. It squashed. Ain't no need to all y'all jacking off y'all time. We didn't sell that down here. It's dead. And that's where it is. Once they shoot that kite, so like they can shoot a kite, who you is, who you not. So that, I say, that don't just happen with DC dudes. That happen with any collective men who got men that they fool with on other compounds. So now that, like I said, I take that with a grain of salt with what he said, but he hearing it from a police perspective. That issue about, he said, the gunners, DC just go, they gunners, they booty bandit. In my state, and the man can do what he want to do, grown man. I have seen every dude who gun out of every car, out of every state, out of every city. I have seen them with the booty bandit thing. Or it ain't booty bandit, but the booty that thing. I done seen them with that, but I have not seen it in their car no more than I have seen it in everybody else. Every car, it's so prevalent in the federal system because now they're giving away life sentences, 35 years sentence, and these young dudes running around the compound, life sentence, 35 years sentence, 75 years. It has become so prevalent that some established groups, I'm not gonna call their name, and I've seen it, some established, not just one, I've seen it several, some established groups have written bylines into their protocol that if a guy has this much time or this much time, if he chooses to have that kind of situation, then there's kind of like protocols and rules on how it's supposed to be treated and how this is going on. And this is what I know for a fact that I've seen. So they get a bad stigma because of, basically one, I'll say, because of the situation with Cadillac. It was a big hoopla behind Cadillac when Cadillac and Silverstein killed Cadillac, and all this was going on, and Cadillac was a dude who did participate in that. And I think they carry that stigma because of that. But as far as them, I have been in there almost 20 years, and I have seen them do it no more than anybody else. Now, on the situation, I had an old head. I'm not going to call his name, but old head had been down like 30 years when I got down. Probably dead now. And he sit there and he told me, he was telling me a story about how DC guys, he said, in Lawton, there's very, very, very few white boys. And if they are in there, DC, the chocolate city, if they are in there, they're probably in there for bank robbery or something like that, in any other, other religion, not religion, I apologize, any other race or person, or probably in there for something like robbery or whatever like that. So they really don't get to see, just like in our Angola back in the days. Now it's changing. They didn't get to see white boys on a regular basis other than when they were the polices and whatever. Now, the old head told me, so when they come to jail, they come to the federal penitentiary, they see these white guys running around, cool manner, soft-spoken, long wavy hair, a long blonde hair. To them, that was the closest thing to effeminate, to being effeminate or seeing effeminate, especially coming out the area they was. And the old head said, the ones who do that used to go at them. Used to go at them hard. He said, in fact, he said that they actually made the white boys stronger. They made them more united, made them stronger. So because when they come to that Fed system, and they start going at them white boys, he said them white boys start cutting their hair, they start growing long beards, they start clicking it up, and they start being real vicious about what they did. They start putting in work, being real vicious, to let people know that they ain't finna be nobody's sex slave. That's what I mean. This is what I heard from an old head. I'm not taking nobody's side. I'm telling you the truth. I'm giving props and telling the truth what it was. And this was he said, a DC old head who was about his business too. And so now, to answer that question, now I say about DC, people like he said, well, DC don't mind about get on this yard, and DC will do this on this yard, and they'll go on this yard. They don't mind where they're going. You got to understand, DC is a district of Columbia. Lord, they shut down. DC prisoners do not have a backyard. DC prisoners do not have a backyard like Pollock, like over in these other places, and all these people who got these states that they got penitentiary in their backyard. DC don't have that. So DC make every yard their backyard. When they get on the yard, they don't get on there screaming and acting like some people I know I've been around. Oh man, I don't want to leave here because they close to my house. I don't want to leave here because this and that. I'm in my backyard. Every federal penitentiary to DC is their backyard because they're not from here. They federal prisoners. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when they approach the yard, they approach it like, hey, Beaumont, just good as Pollock. USP Florence, just good as there. All of it just the same to me. So I don't mind leaving. Well, you got to hesitate and say, well, I got to visit. I got this. I got a cousin. I got my mom I can see. They don't have to hesitate about that. I'm way away from home. Don't got no yard. Let's go. When you're ready to do it, let's do it. So, I mean, that gives them an edge when you're talking about the war game. It don't help them when you're missing your family and want to do that. But in the war game, it always gives them an edge. They're supposed to already be ready to go. Matter of fact, that's how I traveled. I kept my stuff packed up and I was ready to go. Just like the DC dude, wherever I lay my head, that's my home. No matter where I roam, wherever I live, whatever penitentiary they put me at, that was my home until I crashed it out on them. And they the same way. They don't hold no spot more pressure than the next spot. It's all prison to them. And now, but I would say this concerning the DC dudes. There's been a maturation. It's a maturation in their growth. And they have realized, even though they don't follow no man, they done realized that they got homeboys and that put in their work and about business, and they can't exist crashing into everybody, crashing on this yard, crashing on this yard. And now they done maturated and they done got more unified in conformity. They done got more unified and they know how to move on the yard. They know how to this on the move. They know how to act on the yard and going on. And to me, if you know the guys that I've been around, that's more dangerous than when they were just crashing out. Because now they moving with strategy. And they are thinkers. They're not stupid as people think. They may be aggressive, but they are not stupid. It's not in nothing they ate. It's not in nothing that they eat the same food we eat in there. If it wasn't something they ate, they've been to stop eating it. They've been in penitentiary that long. After 3-4 years in penitentiary, whatever you ate, you ain't got it in your system no more. So he said it could be what they ate. It ain't what they ate. It's what they came from and how they moved. In the situation, how the thing was against them, they got kicked out of their home. So now, every home they reach is theirs. I respect that. Now, another thing about when I say about the growth and the conformity is they're able to move better on compounds now. They're going to already make them some money because they got respect. All they got to do is get in the right place. So all they got to do is be in the right place. Now, I tell a few stories of my mans, some of my DC homies. I can tell an incident of one. I won't say which penitentiary I was at, but I actually remember they had a homie that was a transgender gay. I don't know whatever terminology is proper, But he had his man, and him and his man was in the cell. He had a man from North Carolina. And this DC guy, who I knew well, he went over there. Didn't mess with that type. Didn't do the booty thing. Didn't do that type. Was way away from that. And many of them, I can say many of them don't. And way away from that, he walked over there. Went to this new North Carolina guy's cell and told him, say, if you want him, you got to give me $2,000, or I'm gonna take him out your cell and put him in somebody else's cell, or I'm gonna run him up off the compound. That dude paid that man $2,000. $2,000 he paid that man. This I know for a fact. Now, DC, another story I'll tell you. DC dudes, they said it's. He also mentioned that people don't like DC dudes. People dislike what they fear, and they admire what they fear in the same boat. And that's what you got going on there with a love-hate thing with DC dudes. They like their style, they like their toughness. But the thing about it is, just cause you like a DC dude and you want to be his friend, don't mean he want to be your friend. DC dudes they test against weakness. I'm not saying they don't like it because they feed off of it. They eat off weak people. I'm not saying they don't like it, but they don't embrace it. If you're a sucker, you don't know it because they don't keep you at a sucker's lip. They ain't gonna hug you and going on like that. If they embrace you, they fool with you as a man. And people don't like that. A lot of people like to be friends with them. I'd had many dudes, man. Man, how you cool with Tone? How you cool? How can I not be cool with him? He's a man. What? How you tough? Man, them dudes they do what? They walk around here and scare you? They walk like they run the penitentiary, but shit, I try to walk that way. I thought I was doing mine too. Come on, man, but they mad because they cannot get next to them. They cannot be their friend. You ought to see the dudes go out of the way to try to do things to be their friend, and they'll look at the dudes go on, but they gonna try you. I remember when Go-Go come to my cell in USP 11, boy. I ain't been in the system about 3 years, but I know I got sense to know how things move. I kept Bible pamphlets and I kept a thing of candy, a bowl of candy on my cell and on my celly cell. Go coming there, shuffling and jiving with me. What's going on? What's going on, Louisiana? What's going on, man? Why? What? They reaching there. Throw one of the candies in his mouth, reach and get a hand, pull up and put them in his pocket. I sit there. I gave him a minute or two. Look at my face expression and see that was a bad decision. You look at it like, I'm gonna see. If you that person, I want to know it. That's the feeling I got from him. So I said, look here, man, put that candy back in that bowl. What? Come on, man, what you talking about? I said, put that candy back in that bowl. Oh, now you slim, you gonna go pity on me like that? I said, no, I ain't gonna pity. I don't care nothing about that candy. I take all that candy and throw it outside that door. But you ain't gonna disrespect me by grabbing no handful of that candy. When you grab one, you within your rights. When you grab more than one, you ask me, can you do it? Now put that candy back in the bowl. Oh, Slim, you going on like that? I said, no, I'm saving you. I'm saving you, man, because if you was to come in here and get the notion that I'm not gonna go out behind my stuff and open that locker and take anything out there, one of us gonna kill each other. So to keep our friendship intact and stop that from happening, we gonna nip this in the bud right now. That man left out that cell, respected me. We partners, best friends. Not best friends, but we partners, respected each other all the way. He had to see. He had to try to see. This supposed to be Bamm, let me see. Because it'd have been getting candy off the locker today. It'd have been going in there getting coffee out your locker tomorrow. It'd have been going in and eating up your food. You have to nip it in the bud because they push. They come from a hard spot. A lot of people come from the Fed. They come from Laodicea spot. They come from a hard spot. Hard spot like our Angola. That's why there's so many similarities. Now, that in answering some of the questions that he laid for, and like I said, he said he was correctional officers, and I give all due respect to that. He gave you the people to chime in on it like that. And like I said, with the DC guys, they got a style of their own. But again, I said with them there came growth. When I went in the penitentiary, they was tearing up every yard and they was going off and going on. Now you go to a penitentiary, they pretty much got things set up like everybody else. They living good like this, they doing this. And as far as the bull crap, it's down to a minimum now because they learning how to exist in an environment that they came in fighting. And that's my take on what he said. And if I'm wrong, I'm going. If somebody else see it differently, I'm going by the DC dudes I was around. And as I say again, I seen what you would call low levels, and I mostly dealt with the high levels. I don't, like I said, I told people before again, I don't befriend small guys or small level guys because you cannot have them as a friend. When somebody, you can associate with them, do their business, pass by, going on. Don't be mad at them. Hey, you who you is. I'm who I am. But we're going to keep that line. I'm not going to give you no information about me. I'm not going to let you get close enough to me, know nothing. Because soon as your shot caller, or soon as somebody you afraid of in your DC car or any car, say, hey, that nigga Bamm, we going to war him. What he be doing in the morning? What he do here? What he do here? Where he keep this and do? What you be seeing him going to the most when he come up with a 9? You don't give all that up. You don't give it all up. So you don't put it in their heads. Hey, thank you for watching Bamm Raw TV. Hit us some subscribers. And that's my rebuttal or my response to the video the guy had saying that DC blacks are the most hated, the most disliked, and most vicious guys in the federal penitentiary. That's my take on it. His is from a correctional officer's perspective, and mine is from a convict's perspective. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you can know my next video. Getting ready to do some Wayne Perry, L. Chapter, and Larry Hoover. Getting ready to wrap it up for this year so we can move to the next phase. Love y'all.